Hello everyone, my name is Ulamila Tangidebu.
My name is Tainam Vivai.
Today we'll be doing a presentation on the topic elastic band. Moving on, brief discussion on the topic and the presentation. As you can see, elastic bending refers to the deformation of materials when they are subjected to a bending force, but within the material elastic limit, which means the material returns to its original shape after the load is removed. So the purpose of a presentation is to elaborate more on elastic bending and how it is helpful for future engineers. Question: what would you do as an engineer if you had to fix the mess of another who couldn't make strong building as required? Therefore, this presentation could help out. So our first idea is, what is elastic bending and why test it? Um, as I was saying, elastic bending is a material bends under a force but returns to its original shape once the force is removed. So this happens due to the material's elasticity. So these types of bending is reversible unless limit is exceeded. So material is not damaged, but if limit is exceeded, it will be permanently damaged. So the reason behind why elastic bending is tested is that it helps us understand how much stress a material can handle before it becomes permanently bent or damaged. So it helps engineers choose the right materials for their job. So materials is used for testing a wood, steel, aluminum, plastic, etc. Moving on to our next slide. Um, this slide explains how the experiment works. So there are many ways in which the experiment can be conducted with different testing machines. So the first one, the material is supported at both ends, then a weight is added in the middle and the elastic modulus is measured on how much it can bend. The second one, the material is placed in the machine where it involves shaping using pressure to create a bend without permanent deformation. So a few more types or ways to conduct this experiment are 3-point or 4-point bending test, manual test using bare hands, and many more. Moving on, this slide we will be talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of conducting this experiment. Firstly, the advantages. This experiment, it gives valuable insights into how the material behaves under pressure. This helps us make better design choices for the future, as it shows different materials which responds with their response, which is the key to understanding real world performance. Next advantage, it determines elastic limit of the material. The experiment helps us to find the exact point where the material stops being elastic. Therefore, this is crucial and important for safety. And another advantage is that this experiment is useful for engineers to support better material selection from results of experiments. Therefore, from the results, engineers can compare and choose the right type of material for different jobs, whether there is a need for flexibility or strength or both to build safer and stronger structures. Moving on to the disadvantages. Some of the disadvantages are that the experiment is limited to certain materials during the test. It only works best for solids, therefore soft or brittle materials might break before showing clear bending behavior. Another disadvantage is that the experiment may occur to be less accurate without the use of proper tool. Manual setups using rulers or basic stands can lead to measurement errors. With this, data may not be precise. And lastly, the last disadvantage, this experiment does not show all material properties as it only measures the elasticity. It doesn't show how the material handles stretching, which is tension, or twisting, which is torsion or fatigue. Moving on, in this slide we will be talking about what we learned from conducting the experiment. Firstly, the material's behavior while being subjected to the load. While conducting the experiment, when we place weight on the beam during the test, we see how the material bends and reacts to stress. That is the behavior of the material while the load is being subjected to it. Next, understanding of elasticity and elastic limit. Elasticity means the material can return to its original shape after being bent. The experiment shows where the limit is, which can be seen from the graph. This is how we determine how strong the material can be. Moving on, the best use for each material. From the experiment, we have learned how each material can be used. After testing each of them, we see which ones are better for supporting weight and which ones could break easily. Thus, this helps us in choosing the right type of material. As seen in the diagram shown on the right, these are the uses of the steel and some uses of plastics. And lastly, hands-on learning. By doing this experiment and conducting it ourselves, it helps us students to understand more on how each material can be used and how strong it is for building and constructing to make stronger and safer structures for the future. To end our presentation, the elastic bending experiment helps us understand how different materials behaves under force. We learn about elasticity, elastic limits, and how to measure how much a material bends before it deforms. This experiment is useful not only for learning physics concept, but also for choosing the right material in real-life designs like building, furniture, and bridges. Thank you.